I'm just waiting for him to get back in here. Shawn, Ronaldo, what up? Yeah, I heard he is too. We're just waiting for Shawn to get back in here. Not sure what happened. But until then. What's up, Brian? It's my cousin, Ronaldo. So we're just waiting for Shawn to hop in here and we will get started. Street Money Magazine out of North Carolina. Started off as a DVD magazine. We did this. You guys are. This is a very, very, very important interview. You guys are going to learn a lot from this man. Tune in. Make sure you ask questions. If you have a question, make sure you ask. You're going to learn a lot from this interview. All right, I'm going to add him in here. All right, there you are. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on?
Nothing, not much. So I'm glad you got back to be able to do this again today. So those who don't know, we did this a little bit earlier, but it wasn't on live, and I lost the connection. So we're gonna go ahead and redo this. If you have any questions, go ahead and hit them down below. You can see their comments, right, Shawn?
Yeah, I can see
So if you
it.
have any questions as well, we'll try to get to it. But let's just start back like we were earlier. Go ahead and tell the people about yourself and a little bit about the history of the magazine.
All right. Well, yeah, me and my friend Isaac Houston, everybody called him I Hustle. In 2005, we started Street Money DVD magazine, and at that time, we pretty much just rode around the country with our video camera and just talked to every rapper that we could find.
Right.
And after a while, some of the artists ended up becoming national, artists. And after after that, uh, we just kept expanding the business until right now we got to the point where we have an online radio station and also a print magazine. But it just didn't happen overnight.
Right. How long have you been, would you say you've been doing this with the magazine and been in the industry? How'd you start in the industry? What was your start off?
Well, when I was in college, I did an internship, and in the internship, it was working with the television station, and I just kept meeting artists. And from that experience, it just motivated me to go out and do it for myself. And really, the idea came because I created a project called Negology. I went across the country asking people what is the N word, and me and I Hustle, we just got to talking one day, and it came to him. He said, "Man, I got a name for it." And I was like, "What is it?" He was like, "Man, Street Money." And so we just kept recording these artists, and then we just started putting the brand Street Money on everything we did. And a lot of artists, they couldn't remember to say Street Money DVD magazine,
Right.
because just meeting somebody for the first time is kind of hard to be like, well, Street Money DVD magazine. So a lot of artists be like Street Money magazine.
Right.
And at the time we didn't have an actual magazine, but you know everybody spoke everything into existence.
And then it just happened. You guys got out your own way and started executing shit, and it worked. That's
Yeah, it's pretty much how it came. But like I said, it didn't happen overnight, and we kept working.
what was the early stages of your start like? Well, like when you were just starting to actually see some success in your magazine and what things you were capable of. What was that like? That experience, and when did you start noticing the difference of what was going on before and how it is now?
Well, let me tell you this: the first party we did, nobody came but just me and a couple of our homies. The next party we did, we filled it up, and the fire marshal came. And from that, it just taught us that just because when you start something, it's just you and your people. It's no telling where it can go.
Right. So I guess like another question I could say is, can you give us a little bit more, like you did earlier for me, about iHustle and the situation with that and how that ended up changing and how where you're at now?
Well, when our hustle was alive, he called himself the king of nightlife. And that's pretty much what we did here in North Carolina. I mean, we had every little small town and city rocking. Every weekend, we always had something going on. And at some point, you know, we had to start to change the direction of it. And that's where the video portion came in. So once we started integrating video into our parties, now we had more celebrities wanting to come. And now it just brought a different caliber, a different level of artists. And once we showed the people that we could take an artist that nobody knew, put them on our DVD, and then be seen pretty much all over the country, it just changed the way people perceived us. And around 2010, our husband was diagnosed with cancer, testicular cancer, and people was used to seeing us like all in the light and always doing something. And then all of a sudden, it kind of just started fading away. And everybody was like, man, you know, street money falling off, or they ain't doing nothing no more. But we really just wanted to take time to let that man get healthy.
Right.
But around 2014, he did pass away. And after he passed away, that's when we changed the focus of what we were doing. You know, we didn't travel around recording people no more, because he was the host. He was the one that everybody saw. But in bringing it back, that's why we brought back the print magazine and also the online radio. You know, because with the online radio, so many artists can just send us music and we can promote them, and it doesn't allow us having to be out there. But in the meantime, we are going to bring back the video portion back, but you just don't replace, you know, first your homeboy, but also the host of the original brand with somebody that might not be capable.
Right.
So everything's going to come back how it used to be, but we got to get all the pieces together before we come back as hard as we were.
Right. I feel it. Just a shout out one more time in case you guys are just new. This is Shawn Eckles, co-founder of Street Money Magazine out of North Carolina. Right now we're doing an interview. If you guys missed the beginning of it, I will post this so you guys can go back and play it live. First question. Have y'all heard of you heard of? The first question. Have y'all heard of that N-word King Trey song?
I can say this. If you see Derez Deshawn, I was one of the people who was working with him before he was even signed. And also, you can go back and look at the footage. Before Waka Flocka was signed and made it major. And I can name several more. Right. But I am a producer, so you're not going to know me, and you won't see me. It's not your job to see me. When you see my work, right, is when you actually see what I do and what I'm capable of. But in the meantime, my goal is to make sure that I'm able to help promote more artists. And if you want to know more about me, you can look me up. My name is Shawn Eckles. You can Google it.
Yep. And then tell them a little bit, what about the process for an up-and-coming artist if they want to be involved with you, want to get on your magazine, or what's the process of that? What's that going to be like? What kind of budget will they need if they're starting off, or, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. What kind of budget would...
Well, we know that a lot of independent artists don't have resources. They don't have money. Right. But it does take money to reach more people. So we've come up with a way that we can start helping artists with just as little as $10. The $10 is basically a way that people will be able to have their music online, and your fans will be able to just request your music. You know, a lot of artists say that they got fans, but how many artists can say that their fans will actually go somewhere, request their song, and wait for it to be played and listen to it? Right. You know, and that's the first and easy way. But in terms of being in our magazine, we do something called an industry spotlight. And in the industry spotlight, we normally charge artists about, you know, $25 to $50, depending on how long they want the article. But we give artists the opportunity to promote their singles. And when you talk about your single, it's not just your single. We want to make sure that they get an idea of who you are.
Sorry to cut you off. People are finding out that you do politics as well. They're like, wait, he ran for governor?
No, no, no. I did run for Congress. I did run for Congress, and part of it, part of being involved in politics, but also still connecting myself to all of these artists. These people need to be represented for. You know, a lot of times these artists are the people that people consider as criminals. They consider you to be the people that's going to go out there and commit crime. If you have someone that understands exactly what you're going through, then that means we can start to make policy that won't adversely get you locked up.
Exactly.
You know, and we're starting to see changes in the way the government operates, the more the hip hop culture is being exposed. Because at first, all these rappers was bad people and gangsters.
Yeah.
But now these CEOs are realizing these people that you used to call gangster can help you sell more units of whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Big time.
But I mean, you know, for people that question, I guess, some of my credibility, I mean, I am college educated, first and foremost. I have several degrees and a master's degree, 2 master's degrees. And I do sell real estate. So all these things combined, that's what makes me who I am. But when I speak about street money, most people wouldn't even associate me with the company that I had. So I'm glad that you said, who is he? You're not supposed to know me.
Exactly.
You know, it just by the grace of God, I was posting something promoting street money, and you know, you reached out to me.
Yeah.
But ordinarily, you wouldn't see my name associated with the product,
right,
because the business behind it is, this is something that me and one of my homeboys started. But as it goes into the future, just like with any other major corporation, you don't know who the people are that's behind it.
Right.
And I'll be one of those people. But again, you can always Google me and look me up if you want to question anything that I say.
Right. And I'm glad that you had the time to meet with me and do this interview, because everything you're saying is something I can learn from. You know what I mean? I'm always eager to learn from people's success, from people's failures, and anything like that. So where you're at now, what could you say was your biggest hiccup get along the way? What was like the hardest thing to get over and just keep going? And before, did you ever feel like, oh man, maybe I'm not doing this right, I need to stop wasting my time? You know, how did you get through that?
Well, it's always about money, especially when you're trying to do something that's bigger than you,
yeah,
that's bigger than everybody around you. Money is always going to be an issue. So when we first started, we needed a studio. We got in the studio, started making music, but damn, you don't think about paying the bill at the studio and paying the light bill at the studio, paying the internet bill at the studio, making sure your artist got food at the studio, you know. Then on top of that, still having to promote and maintain your business.
Yep.
And then you still got a life, you know. But once we started to figure that out, it got a little bit easier. But yeah, that was very difficult when you're, you know, in your early 20s, and all you know is you want to do it, and you got a little bit of money in your pocket, but you damn sure ain't got enough.
Right.
And everybody around you is looking at you like, nah, you really can't do it. But damn, he do got some stuff happening.
Yeah.
Well, once we figured out how we can sustain a business, promote ourselves, and continue to grow, we started seeing results. You know, and that's when our parties and our events, that's when they really started taking off.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I can see that. You can even see, like, in your magazine how much work goes into that and how much time you spend. Like, that stuff doesn't just poof, it's there. That takes multiple people, editors, graphic designers. Like, so it's not like a small little in your closet thing. Like, it's really grown since you started. And I guess my next question would be, like, I like to ask a lot of the people I interview this. If you can tell the 10-year-old self anything, what would you tell yourself now?
I mean, the main thing is just keep doing it. You know, I come from a small town, Troutman, North Carolina, and not a lot of people feel that you can be successful. So as a 10-year-old, just watching everybody that, you know, don't really go for their goals and their dreams, it's like, man, you can do it and go for it.
Yeah.
And along the way, man, I stumbled a little bit. You know, at some point, I didn't feel like I could do all the things that I'm doing. But where I'm at right now, I mean, it's a totally different situation. You know, when I speak about something, I'm connecting artists that's normally in the hood to people that actually have real businesses.
Right.
That people that's connected to government can see that that same person that you probably would have clutched your purse when you walk past, they not that bad of a person.
Right. Now you start to see
You know,
human instead of
that's part of what we're doing. You know, and when I spoke about the industry spotlight section, I mean, it's cool about your single. We gonna mention your single, but if you really want to sell yourself as an artist, I gotta get to know you. I got to fall in love with your character.
right.
So we do take a little bit of time to get to know who the artist is and how we can best make them, you know, a better artist and also just a better person overall.
Right. I think that, especially with the stuff that we talked about before we were on here and the stuff that I learned about you, you definitely have a compassionate, empathetic part of your heart goes towards the people, not just in the street, but people from the urban. You really attach to that lifestyle, and while also showing that you can be professional at the same time. So like those people who started off and didn't really know if you were going to be able to do it, did that change over time? And did those same people all of a sudden start supporting you? Or did they just kind of like these today's internet trolls just kind of like, because they had the chance to put you down, they put you down? And if so, how do you deal with those outside voices? And did at one point make you insecure? And how did you fix that?
Well, to be honest with you, I I have a very strong gift of not paying people any attention because if you start focusing on what somebody else got to say, you forget what you're thinking yourself. And in this business and in what we're trying to accomplish, it is about maintaining sense of self. It's also about bringing attention to you.
Yep.
So when I work on any project, when I work on any project with a person that I don't know, it's not about me. It's about how do I make this happen. And then after I make it happen, now my name might get mentioned and it might not. But like I was saying earlier, my work, whoever I'm associated with, their success, when that happens, I could care less if you know who I am.
Exactly, because that make what you accomplished your goal, and that's really that all that really matters is what you set out to accomplish. Are you doing it for to be cool and public and everybody know your name, or are you doing it for to be successful? And we all have our own perception of what
Yeah.
that means.
Like a lot of people, when just in general conversation, when I tell them who I am and what I've accomplished, they don't even believe me.
Right.
So I don't care.
Exactly.
You know, when I'm talking to somebody, they might be talking about me like somebody, I guess, Googled me and they looked up and saw that I've been involved in politics. When I'm sitting there telling somebody and I'm with the homie from the hood and I'm telling them, yeah, you know, you can go vote for me, they don't believe me. So why am I going to spend my time waiting on somebody to believe what I got to say? I'm just going to keep doing it.
Exactly.
And eventually, all y'all going to have to jump on board.
Yep. Because your actions speak louder than words. A lot of people hear words, especially in our industry, and it just doesn't turn out. I've been there before where I jumped the gun and said things like, "Oh, this is gonna happen," and then shit falls through, and it makes you look bad. So instead of putting your business out there, the most powerful move you can do is keep your business to yourself and just execute stuff, and put yourself in a position. And we were talking earlier. There's two different types of artists. Can you go back into that? Remember what you were saying? Like there's an artist, and then there's
Yeah. So there's an artist and then there's a boss. See, a lot of artists, they claim that they're a boss, but when you're a boss, you're the person that's going to pay for everything. You say you want a video, then you pay for that video. You say you need promotion, you pay for that. You pay for everything because that's what a boss does. But see, an artist is a lot different. Most of the time, an artist don't have the money to do what they need to do in order to be more successful with their business. But then that artist also don't realize that somebody else has to put their imagination into what you are trying to produce in order to help you become successful. So when you start screaming that boss stuff, you're not really a boss unless you're really full-fledged investing in every aspect of what you do.
right.
You know, so just because you bought some flyers don't make you a boss.
Right.
Especially if you want to keep elevating to the next level.
Right. So somebody who's new into entrepreneurship, is there any resources, any materials that you recommend, a book to read or anything like that, that you could say, yo, I recommend you check this out and this can help you along the way?
I recommend YouTube.
Yeah, really. What about YouTube
For real. Like
specifically? Like,
any person that want to do anything, say if you don't want to read no more, go to YouTube. Type in how to be a party promoter. Type in how to do ASCAP. Type in whatever it is you're trying to do and let somebody else talk to you about it. And then you try to do it yourself.
yeah,
You know, because a lot of people say that people don't want to read no more. That's cool. Let's go where the information is.
right. Let's go. You know what I mean? You don't have to read anymore. There's books that'll read to you themselves. So you see the shout outs you're getting down below? Kay Davis, Ronald, Michael Wellborn.
Yeah. Yeah. North Carolina in the house.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Appreciate you guys today.
all of these people that they've watched the history of street money. You know, they seen street money when it was just, you know, me and Isaac, I hustle riding around. And then they also saw us, you know, when we were at our lowest, when that man was in his casket.
Right.
But right now they're watching as we continue to grow and make this new business venture successful.
Right.
You know, and I see more Troutman people signing on right now.
Yeah. Showing love. You earn that. And that's something that like a lot of us don't realize, that those relationships also don't just happen. When you're trying to live through your phone and your social media, you can't forget to go out there and meet the people face to face. Is that something you would agree with still to this day?
But that's what made us powerful. People always came to our events. And every time they came to our event, they left with something. If you can go somewhere and somebody can get a video and watch that video of you doing the stanky leg 1,000 times, you're going to keep watching that video and you're going to tell somebody else to watch that video. And then when you find out you can get your homeboy in the next video, that's what made us successful originally. And our new magazine is going to do the same thing, except it's going to do it digitally, but also putting it in front of people in their house.
Right.
See, one of the things that separate us from like a double XL and a Vibe is that we don't have to produce a whole lot of pages because we're looking at the individual artists where they are. You know, if we come to your neighborhood and we just made a magazine on all the artists in your neighborhood, wouldn't your community embrace that a whole lot harder than you being on one page in a magazine that you probably gonna lose?
Right. Right.
But I can tell you, any person in Statesville, in Charlotte, in Greensboro, in the areas that we're pumping these magazines the hardest, those are the same people that's in these magazines.
Right.
And so when we come out to California and start working with you, we'll put a magazine out with you and your people so you can grow your community.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But we're not concerned with taking that one magazine and trying to sell it 1,000,000 times all over the country. That's not good for the budget. That's not good for the money. But we can go to all your neighborhoods, all your cities, and we can make a product and we can do events and we can make all that happen right there in your city. And then we can go to the next city and go to the next city.
Yep.
And the whole time we showed individual love to every place that we went. And that's the reason why people love us so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, when I first started speaking to you, I really felt like it was a very easy, very personable person. And it's funny that you say, like, because you're always behind the scenes. I really feel like you're somebody people should really reach out and talk to, because there's a lot you can learn from, a lot that you can gain from somebody who isn't chasing the fame, but chasing the success. Because a lot of these people get success and fame mixed up, and it's not the same thing. You could have 100,000 followers and not have a fan. You know what I mean? You could have all these followers on social media, but are they buying anything from you? Are they returning customers? What are you, or is you just wasting your time? So that, like, when it comes down to me, like, yes, this last year is when I decided to treat myself as a business and not just an artist. And that's when everything started changing, like I was telling you. So I guess my next question, do you still have time, or you have the, I know we did this a little bit earlier. So
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
So, see, what else can I ask you? How do you define success, and for your personal self, and what I guess you could say was your upbringing that brought those minds to you, that mindset to you, or how did you develop how you define success and you perceive that?
Well, I think every person has to define success how they see it. Now, what works for me, I give myself little goals every day. And the more I achieve each goal, it only makes me feel stronger in what I'm doing. You know, and I motivate myself in a lot of ways. You know, when I wake up, I might say, I want to call 10 people and talk about my business. But after I talk to those 10 people, all of them might not like what I got to say. They might not support me, might not ever invest into me. But I just accomplished the goal. I talked to 10 people about my business.
Right.
So my next goal might be, out of those 10 people, 3 of them like what I said. So how can I build some type of marketing material or something that I can reach back out to those same people, because they might want to give me $1 or 2 next week.
Right.
And then how do I make that a part of my life that I can replicate every day? So my success is a whole bunch of little goals that's leading me to something great. I don't know what the greatness is, but I know that every day I make something happen.
That's awesome. I feel the same way. It's like every day you got to do something. Otherwise, like something that me and my buddy Eric talked about, there's only a certain amount of time that we have on this planet. And a lot of people spend a third of it sleeping. And they don't realize that there's only so much time that you have on this planet. And yeah, there's 9 to 5s that are considered hard work. But in this type of industry, a 9 to 5 shift doesn't really cut it, especially when you're not starting off and you're trying to do everything independently. Like me, myself, I've been spending like 16 to 18 hours a day, like I told you. And sometimes that still feels like it's not enough because there's so much to do that you put all this pressure. So how do you step back and still maintain the fun and the enjoyment out of it without all the pressure at the same time?
I found a way to make my life and my lifestyle all in one.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes overwhelming to think about it. You know, and I need to put this in perspective for a lot of people. When I wake up in the morning, I got people calling me about real estate. I got artists calling me talking about the song that they just wrote. I got people calling me talking about who they just got into a fight with. I got people that's elected asking me what I think about certain things that's going on in the neighborhood. But that's what I want to do. Like, I'm that person that when people got an issue, they call.
Right.
And I keep myself available. And some people say commitment issues, but it's not a commitment issue. I know that by keeping myself available for people to talk to me only allows me to make myself a stronger person.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about a leader, all the calls go somewhere. You might not know where they all end up, but they all end up somewhere.
Right.
And I'm that person that, you know, well, we don't know how we're going to get this done. We don't know how we're going to get that done. And at the end of the 10 different phone calls, I'm that person, and then I might come up with something that makes sense. And then it goes back down the ladder to whoever else, and I don't know who all was affected by what I was thinking.
Right.
But nobody ever gave me a job so I can do any of what I'm doing right now.
Right.
I did it because every day I woke up, I went and talked to somebody else, and that next person led me to the next person. And now I got a network of people that's helping me do what I do. Because every job application I put in, they didn't hit me up.
Right.
And yeah, I got college degrees, but my degrees and where I live at don't make sense. You know, I got a master's degree in marketing, and I live around people that don't think they need marketing.
Right.
We in the country, you know, and people rather work with the people that they know or people that they feel has a better or stronger name. And that's fine. But as I continue to grow and develop my business, I'm going to have people from all over the world, not just in this one small area.
Right.
And if I looked at what I'm doing, like it's not major or it's not global, nobody else is going to look at it like that. So going back to what I mentioned earlier, when I give those 10 people a call in that day to talk about my business, one of those 10 people might be that one investor that I needed to get to the next level.
Yep.
So I can't be like I can't make that call because I gotta make that call.
Yeah.
Because in order for me to be more successful, I have to help you get your song to 1 million people. Just like somebody asked who am I earlier. Again, you don't need to know me, but when I help your song reach that 1 million people, and we can sit back and we can laugh about that together and be like, man, you know something? Hey, when you hit me up on Facebook, I ain't even know it was gonna be like that.
Right.
That's where the beauty comes in at. And that's where, I'm happy.
That's up.
And I can sit back and say, hey, that's another successful thing that I've done. And what's next?
Right. And it's working. Like
And I'll
you
start off
just
tomorrow with a whole new set of phone calls.
we reached, and you're on the other side of the country, and I saw you and made me want to reach out and get to know you. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of a effect that I saw your brand making, and just based off the name, based off of how you were presenting it, and the fact that you're trying to help people. I had to find out if I can interview. I had to learn more about it. I had to show everybody else that's in this chat like what you're doing, what is going on, because if we can connect like this and you're on the other side of the country, there's no reason that people like that are in the same area can't support each other and connect like this. You know what I mean? Like,
And if you look down, it's still people from where I'm from signing on to check this out.
yeah, it's amazing.
And quite a and a number of these people know nothing about me in this magazine because they probably only know that I've done politics with them.
That's amazing. Well, let's see what else. What else can we talk about? Is there any new magazine coming out soon that is featuring anything specific that you can tell us about that we can look forward to?
Well, we just released one 2 weeks ago, and it has Chucky on the cover. And Chucky is an artist that we made very successful. He was signed with Lil Scrappy for a while, and now he's trying to figure out how to brand himself independently.
Okay.
But if you look him up, right now he has a song called "Can't Tell Me Shit," and that song had I think 112,000 streams on Spinrilla.
Right.
And we putting together his marketing plan. But he's on the cover of the magazine that we put out, and we're also working on a project, Changes in the Queen City 3. It's a movie, and that'll be hitting you guys pretty soon. But our goal is just to make sure that we work with as many independent artists around the country as possible, and we give them that platform. If you need your song played, send it to us.
Right.
We'll be able to give you some type of shine somewhere.
Where can they send it to?
All right. Our email address is streetmoneymagazine@gmail.com. Yeah, send us your videos, send us, whatever you got for promotion. If you send it to us, you never know what we'll do with it.
Right. Do you guys? Is it just hip hop, or is it other genres that can that can submit their music to you, or is it just hip hop?
Well, no, we support all music. Don't get twisted by the name Street Money. Street Money don't mean just all rap, all hip hop. Now, on our Street Money Radio, we do say that the newest rap music in the world. That's because that is our focus. We will have the newest rap music in the world, but if it's a country artist that is bringing that music, like we do have one named Saddle Brown.
Yeah.
Saddle Brown is an African American country artist, but he's a songwriter, and you can't deny a songwriter regardless of what genre they work with.
Right.
So I'm not gonna sit there and be like, just because you do pop music, I'm not gonna, get down with you and support you. If I feel that the people that's listening to what I got will support you and get down with you, I'm gonna show them who you are. Put you in my magazine, whatever it is that I can do. Hell, come be in a movie with us.
Exactly. I'm down.
Whatever it is.
I'll fly out there if you guys ever need anything like that. I'll be there. I'm trying to do as much as possible. I'm trying to do too much. So.
But yeah, that's one of the things that we also say. Your legacy is what you leave behind, and if you want to be seen in as many lights, you're gonna be seen in as many lights as you put yourself.
Right. Right. Exactly. I couldn't say it any better. So you started off on the TV side. Is that more of the TV and the film, is that more of a hobby passion of yours, or is it like something that you really love to do as well? And is that like a passion of yours? How does that work?
it's all in my skill set. I mean, like I said, I'm the producer. So in being the producer, I understand how to create TV. I understand how to create movies. I understand how to work with an artist that he got a song in his head and can't get it out.
Right.
But my strength, my personal strength, I'm a documentary filmmaker. I know how to make people talk to me and tell me their story.
Yeah.
I can get their story about you. But in being around all these different types of people, it's made me who I am in terms of looking at the bigger picture of the business. I'm not just looking at it to say, let me be a magazine or let me be an online radio station or, you know, let me just market and promote artists. When we look at generating money, when you create your own content, you are a publisher.
Yeah.
So when I say, okay, I'm a publisher and let me create more content for my publishing company, I'm looking at myself a little bit different to say than, yeah, I just made one thing, because I can work with 1,000 different products.
Right.
And in building my business and making my business stronger, the more I can work with artists and empower artists, it only empowers me.
Right.
You know, right now I'm trying to find artists, the right artists that I can really get behind and show everything that my company can do. But I also don't know who that artist is right now.
Right.
You know, and one of the projects that I worked with a long time ago was called Straight Outta Charlotte. And this project was interesting because I was working with 2 gang members in Charlotte, and I followed them for like 6 years of their life. And I made 9 30-minute TV shows out of it. But the interesting thing was, when I met them, they were 17 and they just started gang activity. When I stopped filming, they were around 26, 27. And one had been shot several times and the other locked up in prison. But after making these documentaries, now the reason why it became more personal to me, now I can actually see the result of my work. Now I can see that the things that I'm making really affects real people.
Right.
I know that I can encourage somebody to do better. I can encourage somebody to do worse. I can encourage people to just fuck their life up. So the level of responsibility that I do take for doing what I do is a lot greater, because just like whoever Googled me earlier, they seen when it popped up, the first thing you're going to see when you get my name, not street money, my name is politics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do take responsibility for working with these artists. I want to see people in a better position than what they started. Because if we can't help these same people that you look at as being a criminal become economically better for themselves, then hell yeah, they're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
At some point. It's no choice. Because when you hungry and you say I'm hungry and nobody listen, and then you say I'm hungry and nobody listen, and all of a sudden I can't say it no more, I'm just gonna go take your food.
Right.
And as we look at the difference between rich and poor and how big that gap is getting, why wouldn't it be more beneficial for us to teach these people how to create a product out of what they do every day?
Yeah.
So that's the base of our company. It's taking this content and helping these people create business off of what is being created. And you don't have to do business with us. You don't have to want to do long-term business with us. I mean, you send us something, and if I like it, I'm gonna do something with it because I like it.
Right.
No prejudice, no hate. You know, I might not be able to put a lot of money behind it because I ain't getting paid, but man, if I like something, I like it, and it's no ifs, ands, and buts. You know, it's artists right now that they've never paid me, but I promise you, anytime they post a song, Street Money gonna promote that shit.
Right.
Because we like what they do.
Right. Because you build a relationship on top of working relationship, not just, you know what I'm saying? Oh, here I'm gonna do this. Here's some temporary support. If you're gonna believe in something, you're gonna believe in it. It's not gonna be some half-assed. Let me take $10 and put it up for 5 minutes and take it down to take advantage of. You know what I mean? Like, you're here doing business to help people, not take advantage of people. And that's the main thing I wanted to get across for people with your brand is you're here to help where a lot of these people deceive and do this. And you have a platform that can really help people at all walks of life, not just artists, not just musicians, but the person that you aspire to be just based off of your character and what you're doing in your life. It shows that you're a people for the people. You're a person of the people. So that's good. Like, is there anything like, I guess you could say event wise coming up?
Well, right now we just gearing up to make our online radio station stronger.
Okay.
So we have some new shows that will be coming to you. I do want to let you guys know about the Straight Drop Show. The Straight Drop Show is shot in Atlanta, and it goes from 8 o'clock p.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday, and the host is Mr. Atlanta. And this show, they talk about anything. It's no limits to what this show can be about. I can't tell you what you'll see because every day is something different.
Yeah.
And we just really just want to keep growing and progressing. But right now we focusing on making our online radio station stronger.
Can you tell us again one more time those radio stations and names, and then we're gonna do a quick Q&A with whoever's in the room. They can ask you a question if you have time for that.
No, it's all good. Streetmoneyradio.com is how you'll find our online radio station. Streetmoneyradio.com or Google Street Money Radio, and 24 hours a day it's constantly playing music. But we do have several shows and this is in Eastern time, so I don't know where everybody is.
Right.
But from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. we have the Free Lunch Show, and that's hosted by DJ Strongboy. We have the Vilcast Show, and the Vilcast Show plays all artists from Iredell County, and that's just from my area because I always got to show love for where I'm from.
Right.
But the Vilcast Show goes from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that's with DJ Strongboy, and then from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. we have Carolina Made, and Carolina Made is the hottest artist in North and South Carolina. And then at 8 o'clock, we have the Straight Drop Show with Mr. Atlanta. And then at 11 p.m., we have Banging Bars and Cars Show. And that's coming out of Houston, Texas. And right now, we're trying to find somebody on the East Coast to come in after that. But we hadn't found that yet. But we will keep looking until we get it.
Yeah, that's dope. And then, yeah, I'm excited to be more, for us to keep growing together and keep working together and collaborating together. Where to send tracks? He sent the email earlier. I'll make sure I get that to you, Ronaldo. So right at this point,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and let them ask you a few questions. Anybody who's in the room right now, if you have any questions, go ahead and message it, and I'll let you answer. That's cool. Work with you, Shawn?
Let's do it.
All right. Ronaldo's first question.
And the email address is streetmoneymagazine@gmail.com. Streetmoneymagazine@gmail.com.
Should he just go straight to sending that to you, or should he email you and then you can tell him how you want the formatted?
MP3.
Okay.
MP3 makes it easier.
MP3 format, everybody that's listening. Any other
Yeah, and send cover art too. If you send the cover art whenever your song plays, I'm gonna have your cover art showing at the same time.
Cool. That's what I like to hear. So send your cover art, send your MP3, and it can't be WAV. You want MP3, correct?
Yeah, MP3.
Prefer MP3 with your cover art. Anybody else got a question right now for Shawn or anything else like that? Ronaldo, you got anything you want to ask besides the send the tracks? Jamie, Raquel, anybody? If not, I'm going to go ahead and continue with my questions. I just wanted to give you guys a chance to participate. Anybody got a question right now for Shawn? Okay, I'm gonna continue, and then if something pops up, we can go ahead and answer it. So you've been in the industry for a while. For a brand that's trying to grow and is trying to understand the actual digital marketing side, what's the best advice you can get for learning how to market your website and get people to come to your website?
Figure out who is more likely to support you.
Okay.
And after you figure out who is more likely to support you, then that's who you spend your time going after. And if you don't know, put it out there and see the response you get. If you put it out there and then 100 people respond back, and 50 people of the 100 are between the ages of 18 to 35, and then you got 10 people that might be 50 years old to 60, and then you got 10 people that might be 60 plus, and then the rest of them is just some little kids. What it tells you is the people between the 18 and 35 might be your strongest group. That 100, that's your sample size. Your sample size basically just says that if you talk to 100 people, this is what you're going to get.
Right.
So if you want to make your audience grow, recognize who's likely to support you. Once you determine who supports you, now you find more people that fit that mold.
Right.
And your numbers are going to grow a lot faster. And then, because the average artist or person that's doing marketing, they're like, I want to reach everybody. You can't reach everybody. But if you can reach the people that support you, now you got numbers, so you can try to reach everybody. But a lot of people don't think realistic. Man, I want everybody to get down with my music. I make music for everybody. Yeah, you make music for everybody. But at the same time, everybody's not going to give you $1.
Right. Right. It's true. So, yeah. How do you deal with people who, I mean, I guess it's easier to just say like if people are gonna bullshit, I just stay away from them. You know what I mean? Like I keep bullshitters away from me and keep people who do what they say around me. But that sometimes you got to keep those people. Okay, Jamie's got a question. You see that?
If you can have ownership in your track and in your production, that's what you need to do. Because that is the name of the game. But when everything is said and done, the more ownership you got, or the more your nuts you put on your music, the more money you're going to have at the end of the day. If you getting with your homies and you doing 10% of the song and you get 10% of the checks, just know, next time, make that one song by yourself. If you can pay for the beat, pay for the beat. Pay for the exclusive right of the beat if you can. That's how you put your nuts on the track.
Or make the beat.
Hey, yeah, that too.
There's plenty of online ways to learn how to make a beat. Like you said, YouTube, they got those master classes now, Pure Mix. So if you already know how to write a song lyrically, it makes sense to be even better and learn how to make a beat. It's not going to be overnight like anything else, but it makes sense to know how to do everything. Do you agree?
Or at least have enough of the understanding to move and do something.
Right. What up, Daniel Lopez? Shout out to him. He served in the Marine Corps with me. How's everything going? So, yeah, we're going to be on here a couple more minutes, and then we can call it quits, see if there's anybody else got a couple questions for you. I appreciate your time. I know we had to do this twice today. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
Blog.
Anytime you can connect with somebody that has passion about what they do, man, do it 100 times. I'd rather talk to you more than talk to somebody that's not going for their goals and their dreams.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's humbling because a lot of people don't feel that way. You know what I mean? A lot of people feel too busy. A lot of people would see me and be like, okay, he's just starting out with a blog. Why should I give him the time of life? You know what I mean? But the fact that you saw, man, he's trying to do something. He's doing it the right way, and he's trying to grow, and you gave me that opportunity. I really appreciate that on a personal level and a professional level.
Appreciate that. But that's what it's about, building relationships. And who knows what happens from here?
Yeah.
This could be the start of something that can be historic.
Yeah.
All we have to do is keep talking.
Yeah.
And that's what the music industry provides for artists that artists can't provide for themselves, is the ability to network across lines.
Yeah.
But if we can network and build business relationships with our network, we are the industry.
Right. You don't need the other parts of it when you can be the industry. Just support and stay strong. Thanks, Jenny Jones. Should stay.
Yeah, that's still where I'm from, man. People represent.
That's what's up. That's good. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. Sometimes when you're in the big city, it's like you don't get enough real connection. You know what I mean? Like back home, for example, in Chicago, like it's so busy all the time. There's so much chaos going around, especially where I'm from, that people are just like they'd rather just say fuck off. Like I don't even want to waste my time right now. It's too much risk going outside and doing all this stuff. I got to worry about myself. I think like
But see, to somebody like me, I'm not from Chicago, so I'm not gonna look at it like you.
exactly.
All I'm gonna see in Chicago is, man, it's millions of people in Chicago, and there's millions of people that I can hit. But you're gonna look at the individual life and what goes on with the individuals, and I'm gonna look at something totally different.
Exactly. Different perceptions.
When I went to Chicago, when I was doing my negology documentary, I had caught a bus and stopped, I think, on 71st.
Whew. Yeah.
I was walking up and down the street and people was like, man, don't do that shit. But I was walking up and down the street with my camera, man, and I had like some hoes, some prostitutes. They basically pulled me to the side and they just started talking in front of my camera. And that's what I remember from my trip when I was in Chicago, man. Just some prostitutes just pulled me to the side and just started getting in front of my camera and talking.
Yeah. Everybody want to be fun. Everybody want to be famous in Chicago. Everybody just wants to make it out. Honestly, that's a big thing. Is like it just seems like a lot of people want to get any way they can. They can get out there, whether it's flipping shoes, selling drugs, being a gangbang. Everybody just looking for a way to better themselves. And like we were talking about earlier, sometimes situation dictates to people who they're going to be. You know what I mean? Or they think you do because they don't know any better. So for those people who feel like they're trapped in a system that they can't really find a way out, what's your advice to them? As both in the industry, politician, and a person, how can they make it through their bad days with hope to being a better when they haven't really seen much get better?
Well, really, you have to work on motivating yourself. You have to find something that motivates you. And regardless of what's going on, when you can look inside yourself and you can always feel good about you, it doesn't matter about how anything else comes into your life. You can be negative, it can be a negative situation, but you'll always feel that you can prevail because you feel good about yourself. And that's something that I pride myself on. And that's the reason why I make a whole lot of small goals just to keep myself motivated. You know, I don't care what happens. I have bad days according to other people every day. But when you ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm chilling and living because I'm still here and I'm still making it happen.
Right.
And regardless of how bad it is to somebody, when they look at it, that's not how it's going to be projected on me because that's not how I feel about myself, my situation, and what I'm capable of. You know, if I went to the store today and I didn't have money on my debit card and I swiped it and it said decline, is that going to prevent me from saying I'll be able to go and buy everything that I want and desire in the future?
No.
All it's going to say is, damn, I need to work harder so I can get more money.
Right.
And that's how I will look at it. I won't look at it like I don't have or I can't get. It's like, that's my motivation. That's my fuel. You know, they say I'm a rapper, feed me beats. Well, feed me situations that help me grow.
Right.
And that's where the magazines and all these different responsibilities that people put on me, that's where they come into play. You know, it's helping me grow and become whatever I'm going to be when I grow up.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah. And that's exactly how I'm looking at it, like life right now. I'm trying to help as many people as I can, still while being able to maintain my career and what I'm trying to do. But it seems like as much as I love rapping, as much as I love making music, I love helping people more. I love being that person that people can look back and be like, man, he really helped me out and he did that for me. Because I didn't really have that in my life. So being that kind of stability or being in that kind of platform or being that kind of person, it's a goal of mine to strive to be like that. And it didn't come naturally for me. What was natural for me was a hood mindset, ghetto kid that didn't trust anybody, you know what I mean? Not compassionate, not very empathetic because he was self worried about myself too much instead of seeing that there's bigger issues out there. Everybody has bad days. Everybody can do this. If one person can make it out of Chicago and be successful, then any human being can do it. Doesn't matter. That's how I look at it. If one human being is capable of doing it, then if I put the right amount of work in, effort, meet the right people, I can do it too. You know what I mean? There's no limits for anybody. And that's the message I'm trying to send to everybody as well, is like there's no limits. And you could be real with yourself, but even when it comes to that, when you're being real with yourself and saying I can't do this, it's your choice. It's your world is what you make it. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah. You are your own business. You control your destiny. You know, if you want to give your time to someone for an hourly wage, then that's fine for you. But if you want to generate more money than you could ever imagine, then you have to find what's going to work for you in order to get it.
Right.
And you can't let anybody else stop you or deter you from it. And just because it doesn't happen that first day, you know, man, you put your song on iTunes and you only got 30 people to download and give you 99 cents. Don't be discouraged, because if it's on iTunes, who knows that one day that everybody around the world just clicks and hits it.
Right.
And now your streams and your downloads go up. But if you gave up, you never would have known how many people would have downloaded it.
Right.
You never would have learned your real earning potential.
Right.
And that's what my company projects on people. We rather you have the product up for sale to allow people to communicate a way to pay you. And then we figure out how do we get that link or that product in front of more people.
Right.
You know, with some people it might be, I want to make t-shirts. Cool, we can help you with t-shirts. Some people it might be, I want to sell my music. Man, we can get you with the music videos, with the recording, with whatever it is that you need. You know, it's all within our network.
Right. And then we're going to wrap it up right now. I'd just like to take this time to go ahead and shout again the magazine out, shout yourself out, how people can find you, and anything else you would like to say before we go ahead and close off the interview. And thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. And I really would like to do this more frequently. Maybe we could start, we'll talk about it more when we're not on live, but we'll figure some stuff out. We can do this more frequently and continue to grow together.
I'm game with it. We can make that happen. But again, I am Shawn Eckles. I'm the co-founder of Street Money Magazine, and just be on the lookout for us. You can get our magazine at streetmoneymagazine.com. You can listen to our online radio station at streetmoneyradio.com. If you want to buy a house, hit me up. I can sell you a house in North Carolina. I can get you a house anywhere in the country. All you got to do is hit me up. I can sell that real estate. Rather sell that real estate because the checks is bigger, quicker. But I can take 1 million downloads too.
Yeah.
But we really just want to help more artists and just teach them that there is more than one way to get that money. Because just to give you an idea of how the real estate connects to these hip hop artists, once we sell these records, it's a good investment to buy property.
Yeah.
You won't go broke if you got property.
That's actually something I'm thinking about. Like I wanted to buy a house in Las Vegas and not use it as a house, but flip it as an Airbnb, because there's so much foot traffic in there daily. And now they're bringing the stadiums there and stuff like that. So I feel like everything that you're saying to me, it's like stuff's been clicking for me. So we're just going to continue to grow together and start getting shit done. You know what I mean? Execution is more than words. So I don't want to just say stuff before I put my business out there. I'm just going to start executing, let that speak for me, a lot like you. That's something that I find very humbling and inspiring to be like. So I don't need to be flashy. I just need to get things done. So, yeah. Anybody else got any questions?
That'll leave more for your legacy.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I make an impact with one person right now today, and they have a kid 10 years from now, they tell their kid, so that's another person I'm reaching. You know what I mean? Like, down the line is all that matters for me. It's like I don't care if I become a millionaire. I just want people to know, understand what I'm going through, have someone that relates to. Yeah, I want to be successful financially, but that doesn't necessarily have to come from the music end. There's so many options that I can make money with and invest that so people hear my music. Like you said, real estate and other things like that, and just learning more business. Would you recommend people in the industry? Sorry, I know we were going to wrap it up. We got another question because it just popped in my head. Would you recommend people going to school for business management if they have that opportunity over something in the music?
Hell no. Look, if you want to do something in the music industry, go do it. If you want to go work for Bank of America, go get a degree. That's simple. Because with music and entertainment, you're an entrepreneur. You are starting your own business. When you start your own business, unless you want to take more time, just go do it. Spend your money while you're doing it. But if you want to go work for a company, then go get degrees to fit their criteria.
Right.
I got my degrees because I didn't want to go to jail.
Right.
And that's just real.
Right.
When I went to undergrad, I only left where I'm from is because black males in the Deep South go to jail for no reason. And I saw myself in that same category. So yeah, I went and got my first degree. But while I was getting my first degree, that's when I met, all these people involved in the entertainment industry. And I got my master's degree because I saw what could set me apart from them.
Yeah.
And that's what did set me apart. Because, I mean, when you walk in the room with all these people who respect you, but then the next layer of respect comes when you have degrees that back it up, but it's also in the same areas that you speak about. Yeah, people take you a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, this is how I play people sometimes. I'm not a flashy dude, but I can walk into a room full of business professionals not looking business at all. And when I open my mouth and speak, they don't look at me like that no more.
Right.
And that's the power of street money, and that's the power of the entire brand that we put on people. I don't care what you was thinking before we got there, but I promise you, when we leave, you remember something.
Exactly. And I think I can already tell, like, the quote that's already sticking out of my head from this interview is, be your own boss. You know what I mean? You're your own business. Like, treat yourself as that. And sometimes you got to let it go of emotional attachment when you're thinking about business and think with just logic, no emotion attachment at all. And for artists, it's kind of hard with music, and I understand that. But that's definitely something that stuck out with what I've learned from you today is be your own business. And you know what I'm saying? You got to be able to, obviously, 3 out of 10 people say yes. You got to be able to deal with people telling you no. You got to be able to, and that's part of growing and being successful. Because now, if you just sit there and wallow, oh, they told me no, you ain't going to learn anything. But if you get told no and you understand why, you can learn from that mistake and not get told no again next time if you approach it differently. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate learning from you and talking to you. I'm gonna hit you up after we disconnect from live, just to recap what we went over and let you know how I plan on posting this on the website and stuff like that.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem.
We'll continue to do this, and this might be a monthly thing or however you want to do it, but just let me know, and I'm game. I'm with you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Shawn.
All right. Peace.
Bye.